Um, I'll go over this trade. This was honestly probably the most stressful trade. Um, the most stressful trade I've had in quite some time. The conditions were just horrible, and I made just horrible decisions. Um, my last video, I said I was going to speak about it, and here we go. Um, uh, don't mind this 1745. This is not actually accurate. Um, um, this is not actually accurate. Uh, Let me go onto my desk so I can give more information about this trade. But overall, I made a really bad decision. Um, ugh, ugh, Fuck. Give me. Um. So basically, uh, this is funny too because it's ridiculous. It's funny because it's ridiculous how I just keep just making stupid mistakes. That can potentially destroy me. Little petty mistakes that a newbie would make. Excuse me. I find myself making them, and I understand that it's difficult for me many times to follow rules because of the way I grew up, the lack of the lack of guidance. But I pretty much got into this trade, and it was a 400% gainer. Um, as you can see here, the day before, the high was. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. Just know the day before the high was like 2 cents, and and it went up to what was it? Going pre-market, it went up to a high of 17, 18 cent. It was up over 400%, but when I got to it, I saw 400%. So, not knowingly, I saw the stock tick, and well, I won't say not knowingly, but not doing my due diligence, I saw the stock tick, and I'm like, this has to be an extremely low flow. And my first thought was to get into it, and that's exactly what I did. Uh, I did I didn't look at I didn't look at my I didn't look at the SEC filings. I didn't look at anything, to be honest with you. And when I finally did, um, after I got into the trade, and I got into the trade pretty heavily, way before I needed to. It was an hour before market open. Um, I entered the stock with, let's see here. Um, I got in at 14 cents for 2,000 shares, 22,000 shares. Um, then a minute later, I got in the rest of my shares that I was trying to get in with 18,000, and then right here I got in with 2,200. So roughly 41,200, uh, roughly 41,000 shares. I got in, and I'm gonna it's 5 minutes. This is a really annoying trade. Um, I got in, and uh, I swear I got in before that. Okay, so I got in at 8:40. You know, at this range at 8:40, 45, whatever. And finally, the market opened. I was up 800 bucks. I didn't take it. Um, Before that, before I even got in, before market opened, that's when I started doing my research. And I make these mistakes a lot where um, I don't do my research, and I get into a trade first and I don't do my research. So I looked at first I looked at the flow, and I looked it up. There was nothing to be found. Then I looked to see why the news was up. There was no news on the stock. Then I looked at the yearly chart, or not the yearly chart, the SEC filings, and I got this statement saying that on April 14th they issued a merger with Solar Max, which meant shit to me. And I was trading this stock on April 18th, not the 14th. So on April 18th, which is on April 14th actually, which is right here, the stock dumped. I think this is the 14th, yeah. So that following weekend, it pushed up. Um, so I was thinking, okay, maybe no one got to the news in time, and that's why it's up 400 over 400%. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, though just by the way it's moving, it's a low flow, and this can run. So when I was up 1,800 bucks at this top of this candlestick, I mean not 1,800, 800 bucks. I was like, I'm not gonna get out because this probably can run really well, because it's moving like a low flow. But I don't know if it's a low flow. When market opened, it wasn't moving. The first few minutes of market open, I can get this shit to you. This is the day. First few minutes of market open, it wasn't really moving. And I'm like, okay, you know what that means? If the stock doesn't move, um, then it's holding up support and it's gonna push. Now let me remind you that at this time the stock was only up like 5 to 7 million shares, and I made this mistake of not I forgot to divide um the amount of shares because it's under $1. So really, the stock was only had a value compared to a $1 stock. It only had the volume of 500,000 shares, which is horrible. It's illiquid. And I made this mistake of going into an e-liquid stock, and I got in, and up here I'm like, I still didn't realize I made a mistake, and I got in, and um, I was like just waiting, um, and it wasn't moving, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna pay high commissions on it, and looking now, I paid so far for just this day, I paid $70 in commission. Then I'm like, okay, why is this not moving? I see it pull back. I'm waiting. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the stock? And then I realized I made a mistake. This stock is, I don't know if it's a low flow. I made a mistake by getting into this stock because there's no there's no volume, there's no share count, there's no news, there's nothing. Maybe there is news from the SEC filings, but still, I don't really have much in this trade. And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck did I just do? And after that, I'm just like, bro, what do I do in this situation? I need to get out and I can't get out. And I don't want to get out for a loss because I'm going to get hit with massive slippage. So I waited and I'm like, just to see what it's going to do. It's consolidating right here, consolidating. I'm like, if it holds, um, if it holds, then I'm going to be good. And next thing you know, from within a blink of an eye, this shit just dumps. And I saw how I was like near break even to down like a substantial amount. And I was just like, what the fuck? Then, eh, you know, this probably was the biggest volume they had within the day. Um, yeah, or close to the biggest. But then it consolidated. I'm like, bro, this shit got to bounce. And I'm just waiting, and then boom, this shit dropped even more. I literally was down 50, damn near 50% of my entire investment into this stock. And I promise you, I kid you not, I wanted to throw the fuck up. I was like, what the fuck? What do I do? I made all these mistakes. I technically deserve this loss. But I said to myself, I'm like, bro, on the real, this stock has a potential of going right back to where it started from, um, back to 2 cents. And I thought to myself, and I'm like, um, if this does go back to 2 cents, I'm losing roughly probably damn near 80 to 90% of what I've invested into the stock. And if I lose, in fact, I was already over the PDT. Like I'm just waiting for the funds to transfer, but I'm over the PDT now, and I just fucked this up. I just fucked this shit up, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I just fucked it up. I just handed it over. When I was down right here, I was down over 3 grand. Let me do the math. My average was like 0.145, and it went down to 7 cent. So minus 0.07, I was down 4.5 cents per share. I mean 7 point. I was down 7.5 cent per share times 41 two. And that's how many shares I had. I had 41,000 shares. I was down over $3,000, and I was just devastated. I was fucking devastated, and I didn't know what to do. Uh, and I just froze. Honestly, when you're in too big and you're uncomfortable and you're not sure, and the stock goes against you, the first thing you do is freeze. And Randall Harrow says it too. The first thing you do is freeze. Then you go into a fight or flight mode. And that's what I did. I went into a freeze and I went to fight or flight. And I said, you know what? This is gonna give me a bounce. I don't know what it's gonna do, but I got it's gonna give me something. And luckily, I'm like, okay, and it doesn't have to. And the market doesn't give a fuck about me. But I got lucky, not even blessed or whatever people like to call it. I got lucky and the shit bounced right back up. And right here, and this is the problem with me. I was down 50% of my money, and right here, guess what I did? Refuse to take my gains. So I'm telling myself, okay, if this stock can bounce this much, that means, and I've seen this in many trades before, and sites go over these lessons. If a stock can panic and bounce right back to its highs or close to its highs, then that means it can probably run and go past its highs. And that was my theory in that. And whether that was my theory or not, I don't care. I should have been out once I broke even. And guess what I did? I did not get out. As you can see here, I did not get out. And then it continued to fade, fade, fade. And I I I went into a hold and hope situation and held for the next day. Um, After hours, I didn't realize it. I was playing basketball. I had went to the park to clear my mind. But after hours, it pushed up to close to or actually back here. I thought it would push up to 15, but it closed back. It pushed up back to my average, and I could have probably sold into this, but I doubt it because there wasn't enough shares to sell into this. There wasn't enough buyers to sell into this. So I told myself, wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and see what this does. And if it gives you a chance to get out, get out. And 4 a.m. came, it pushed up to 20 cents. I was in at 14 cents. It doesn't matter, like, um, it doesn't matter that it pushed up, um, and that I was up. It's a matter of I need to get out this fucking trade. And for real. Give me 1 second. Sykes said something. But I told myself to wake up at 4 in the morning, watch it, and set an order. Maybe this will uh, go up for a second green day and I can get out because this was up over 400%. And I was like, I'm too tired. I don't want to get up. like, what kind of mindset is that? Oh, I'm too tired and don't want to get up. And that's exactly what I did. And I missed this great opportunity. It wasn't a great opportunity, but I missed this opportunity to get out with a profit. And one thing I need to improve on is not every stock you should get out with a profit. That's a bad habit I have. Not you don't have to profit on every single stock. Um, and it faded all morning, and I thought at 9:30 it would give me a chance to. Um, well, it did actually give me a chance to get out with a decent profit or push the highs, and it went up to 1650 roughly, and I refused to take the gains. I was back up 800 dollars per for this trade, and I still didn't take it. I don't remember why. I just don't remember, but I just didn't take the gains. And I sat there and I'm like, okay, this is gonna fade. I might have to take a bigger loss, but I'm like, I'm fighting this trade, and I'm telling myself the best way for me to get out is if I add, lower my average, wait for a small perk up, and get out into that. And I had to remind myself this is a illiquid stock, so anything you perk up and get out of is gonna dump back down. Um, so I added here, and it dropped even more, and I wanted to add it at $8, but I 8 cents, but I hesitated. Um, I hesitated to add here, and I kind of regret it because it ended up pushing even higher. When I added, when I added here, my average dropped to 1350, and if I added again here, it probably been like at 1250 or something, and then it started pushing up. Um, I took the liberty to after hours to put in an order at 17, and I waited till the after hours were closed because I don't know who's manipulating the stock to go up and down. Um, but uh, um, I don't know who's manipulating the stock to go up and down. But I told myself I'm like, man, the smartest thing for me to do is to wait for after hours to be over with, enter an order, so that once the market or pre-market opens, I could just sell into here. And I put it at 17. I didn't know how high it was gonna go, but I put it at 17, and I just let it sit. And that next morning, I woke up at 4, saw that it wasn't doing nothing, took a 5 minute, went back to sleep for 5 10 minutes, woke up again, and some orders got executed. 1,000, I guess just 1,000. I don't know, maybe 2,000. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. And some of it got executed. I was hoping all of it would, but it didn't. And then eventually, I was like, you know what? I gotta stop thinking of getting out for a profit. So I entered a limit order for the range of 14 cents. I just put a limit order at 14 cent, and if it goes even higher, it will sell into that. So I entered the order, and I guess it got executed because I don't. I'm break even now. Um, yeah, it got executed because this is right here. You see, um, 20,000, 20,000, and you know the rest is here. You got 5,000 right here. You know whatever that adds up to, 20,000. Yeah. So it all got executed here while I was at the gym, and I just was like fucking relieved. I ended up making $268 on this trade, but I ended up paying. I ended up paying $90 in commissions. So I damn near broke even all for a whole bunch of stress. This was a bad trade on my behalf, um, and I should have never been playing this. Um, this stock also reminds me of um, a book called, I think, Momo's Traders, where they there was this one guy who was he would always buy just before the market closed. There was a stock that he was trading, and it would always like I think it would always go from like $1 to $2, and it was very illiquid. But like it would gap up to $2 or something like that, and then before the day ends, it would uh, downtrend all the way back to um, $1 or some shit. I gotta read the book again. It's a certain number, and every single day for probably like months, he will go in at the end of the day with 5,000 shares or $5,000 or something like that, or probably was under $1 or something. But he would like double, triple, quadruple his money, and overnight, and every day he would do that. He would take out the profits and then put back the 5,000, and every single day he will get in at the lowest point, sell in pre-market for the gap up, and then it will drop back down. And as you see here, um, get in at the lowest point, sell into the gap up, and then throughout the day it will drop back down, as you see here, and he will buy back again, sell here into the gap up, and then buy back down. I don't know tomorrow if tomorrow is gonna do the same thing, but it reminded me of that one trader and Momo's trader. I don't remember his name or anything, but I know it was a male who was doing it, and that's what he did, and he made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. I guess this company was like manipulating the stock somehow. Um, and I don't know if the company was manipulating the stock or he was, but he learned how to either he learned how to manipulate the stock and push it up and then sell, or he was like kind of like doing some kind of boxing thing where he will buy all up here and then um he will buy up here, sell here. He will sell here, and then like he was doing something where he was making a whole bunch of money. And he was just the stock was just repeating itself over and over and over again for months, and just until the strategy went away. But 9 times out of 10, you probably can go back and do it again. But um, um, that's what he was doing, and he made a lot of money. But all in all, man, I made a really bad trade. I was lucky enough to get out break even with a little bit of profit, but I gotta be more disciplined than that. The stock is, and every single day I traded this stock, it went, it dropped 50%. So the day I was in, it dropped 50% or more. It dropped 50% from 17 to uh some kind of low here, 8. It dropped a large percentage. Same thing here. It dropped a large percentage. So I don't want to trade into the stock. I don't even want to play that strategy that the guy in the Momo's Traders um, did, but I would love to see him do it live and probably like practice it a little bit, but not let that be my strategy or really focus on that. Um, um, because it's just I don't want to. It's that's nice, but I don't want to be in that situation. I want to be self sufficient and great like Timothy Sykes and greater. So um, I gotta stop going for big games, and I just gotta get more discipline. That's all.